Are ready, you just go.
Okay. Homelessness is a problem that many individuals and families face on a daily basis. Not only is homelessness one of the most impactful problems on the world today, but it is also one of the most visible problems. In recent years, it seems that there are more and more homeless individuals in cities and urban areas. This observation is supported by the Investing in Public Health Infrastructure article. Investing in Public Health Infrastructure to Address the Complexity of Homelessness article written by John P. Allegrante, a professor at Columbia University, and David A. Sleet, a former professor at San Diego State University. This article stated that according to an annual report given to Congress by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, better known as HUD, in January 2020 there was a 2.2% increase in individuals who experienced homelessness on any given night when compared to a single night in 2019. Not only have the numbers of homeless individuals increased in recent years, but multiple articles have expressed the belief that many homeless policies are created with the intent to hide homeless individuals from public places and from the public view. One example of this point of view is voiced within the Explaining Public Support for Counterproductive Homelessness Policy, the Role of Disgust, article written by Scott Clifford of the University of Houston's Department of Political Science and Spencer Piston of Boston University's Department of Political Science. This article describes how some homeless policies have gathered public support, and the article criticized the policies for being counterproductive because of their objective to hide homelessness from the public view. This view is shared by the Punishing Benevolence, a Criminalization of Homelessness, Feeding as an Act of State Harm article written by Christopher P. Dom and Kevin Wayne, both of the Department of Sociology at Kent State University, and Robert J. Norris of the Department of Government and Justice Studies at Appalachian State University. This article argues that certain cities' ban on feeding the homelessness in public places was intended to sanitize public spaces. However, the article states the belief that the bans have negative impacts on homeless individuals, such as not allowing the public to truly see the severity of the problem of homelessness. Previous studies have gathered information about the public's perceptions and knowledge about homelessness. However, many studies neglect a key aspect of support for homeless studies. Individuals who live in rural areas and individuals who are under the age of 18. For example, the European Public Perceptions of Homelessness, a Knowledge, Attitudes, and Practices Survey article, which detailed a survey given to thousands of Europeans across 8 European countries, asked respondents a variety of questions about their perceptions and knowledge on the topic of homelessness. While the survey is a credible source, the survey was noted to have been given to participants who were over the age of 18, and was given to participants who live in mainly urban places. Due to the gaps of public knowledge and perceptions about homelessness, it is necessary to ask what perceptions and knowledge is held about homelessness by high school students from rural areas. Going into my research, I assumed that the rural high school students would not be supportive of policies that help homeless individuals. I also assumed that students would express a sense of fear when thinking about interacting with homeless individuals. Because I viewed homelessness as a more of an urban issue, my hypothesis was that because the distance between rural high school students and urban areas, they would not see homeless individuals frequently. Another thing that I hypothesized was that because the high school students have poor knowledge about homeless individuals and limited interactions with homeless individuals, that they would hold negative opinions about homeless individuals. I believe this would lead the students to not be supportive of homeless policies that help homeless individuals. In order to conduct my research, I wanted to conduct a survey to find countywide perceptions of knowledge and homelessness. However, due to privacy issues, I had to settle for only interviewing people from my school because of the possibility of interviewing a homeless individual. In order to ensure the privacy of the students was protected, a school administrator picked 5 students for me to interview, and they ensured that the students I interviewed would not be homeless. For my research, I used a mixed method approach where I asked the students who participated in my interview qualitative questions. Then, through comparing the responses numerically, I quantified my results. The questions that I asked were partially based off the questions from the article titled European Public Perceptions of Homelessness, a Knowledge, Attitudes, and Practices Survey, which was given to participants across 8 European countries. The questions, results, and analysis of my research were divided into 3 sections: knowledge, experiences, and perceptions. As specific questions were asked to find what the students knew or thought about of each of the 3 categories. The first section of my interview was intended to find the students' knowledge about homelessness. The question for this section was, how many individuals do you believe experience homelessness in North Carolina on any given day? The responses given by students 2, 4, and 5 were in the thousands. Student 1 did not know, and student 3 said that they believed that probably around 30% of the people in North Carolina experience homelessness on any given day. When analyzing the results, the initial hypothesis was supported by the results of this section. The real number was actually around 9,280, according to a 2019 article published by the United States Interagency Council on Homelessness, meaning that only 3 of the students answered correctly, supporting the hypothesis that the students had poor knowledge about homelessness. The next section was intended to find the students' experience with homeless individuals. When asked if they had seen homeless individuals in the past 3 months, all students said that they had seen homeless individuals in either Asheboro or Greensboro, North Carolina, which are the closest urban cities or urban areas to the school. After this, students were asked how often they had seen homeless individuals, and all the students said that they believed that they saw homeless individuals on at least a weekly basis. Next, students were asked, if you have seen a homeless individual, what did you observe them doing? Students 2, 4, and 5 said that they saw homeless individuals asking for money or panhandling. After this, students were asked, have you had interactions with homeless individuals? Students 2, 3, 4, and 5 said that they had interactions with homeless individuals, and all of those students suggested that their interactions with the homeless individuals were positive. When analyzing the results of the section, the results of the students' experience and interactions with homeless individuals, it became clear to that my initial hypothesis was proven to be partially incorrect. Because the students were from a rural area, I hypothesized that they would not have had interactions with homeless individuals. However, this was disproven as 4 of the 5 students had interactions with homeless individuals. The final section of my questions was intended to find the students' perception on the topic of homelessness. Students were first asked, how likely are you to give homeless individuals who ask you for money? Student 1 said they would give money most of the time, and students 2, 3, 4, and 5 said that they would probably not give money to homeless individuals. Students were then asked, how important is solving the problem of homelessness and helping homeless individuals to you? All 5 of the students said that they believed that this was an important problem, and they believed that it was a problem that should be solved. After that, students were asked, what would you be willing to do to help homeless individuals? All the students said that they would be willing to do or already donate their time, food, and money, or other things such as clothes. Finally, students were asked, what would you not be willing to do to help homeless individuals? Student 1 said that they were not sure what they would not be willing to do, and then students 2, 3, and 4 said that they would be hesitant to give homeless individuals money because they do not know where the money would be going. Student 5 said that they believed that giving money to homeless individuals had its limits for them because they believed that homeless individuals, quote, have the opportunity to go get a job. While 4 of the students did express hesitation about giving money directly to homeless individuals, which would align with the initial hypothesis for the research, the other results suggested that the initial hypothesis were wrong. While a majority of the students expressed hesitation with giving money to homeless individuals, all 5 of the students said that they believe that homelessness is an important problem to solve. When asked what they would be willing to do to help solve the problem of homelessness, all 5 of the students said that they would be willing to, or already do, contribute to solving the problem of homelessness. Through the research process, there are multiple new understandings that I was provided with. Because the rural high school students saw homeless individuals far more frequently than I hypothesized, a new understanding was provided by my research that homelessness is not just an urban problem, it is a rural problem as well. Another new understanding provided by this research is that because the students interviewed expressed mostly sympathetic attitudes towards homeless individuals and their willingness to help homeless individuals, it is clear that the students wanted to solve the problem of homelessness, leading to the new understanding that the rural high school students viewed homelessness as an important problem that needs to be solved. In addition, all of the students suggested that they would be willing to contribute to the problem of homelessness themselves. When contextualized on a larger scale, this research suggests that there would be support from rural high school students for initiatives and policies that aim to help homeless individuals and that aim to solve the problem of homelessness. The overall new understanding of this research is the expansion of previous research to the demographic of high school students from a rural area. As my results from the interviews align with the previous research, suggesting that the individuals interviewed are sympathetic towards and believe that the problem of homelessness is an important problem to solve. My research is largely limited by one thing, a small sample size, because it was only conducted on students from a single school, and I was only able to interview 5 students from that school due to time constraints and the use of an interview process. While the research was limited by a small sample size, the research was conducted in a morally conscious manner, and the use of the interviews to conduct the research expanded the validity of each response. Every respondent responded with in-depth answers due to the use of an open-ended interview process. And because of the responses were so similar to one another, things like the issue of homelessness being present in a rural area where the students lived was proved. While the research would need to be expanded to prove the conclusion suggested, the research was conducted in an academic manner and would be easy to replicate. Thank you.
All right, so Mr. Hodge is going to have your first question for you.
Right, how did the choices you made when designing or implementing your research method impact your research process?
Initially, I wanted to do a survey, and I had got past the school IRB board, and I sent it to county office with everybody else, and then they sent it back, and there's a countywide policy that aims to protect the students' privacy, and if I would have sent that survey out to the entire county, or like any teachers to give it to students, I could have interviewed a homeless individual, and that would be bad because like it's against the countywide policies, and so I had to shift to an interview process, and that like my initial design ended up, the questions for my survey, I actually got to transfer most of them to the interview process, but my initial design had to be changed because of privacy issues, so I could interview individuals that I knew that weren't homeless, and
Thank you.
make sure that there was no privacy violations.
Okay. What are the real-world implications or consequences related to your findings?
I believe that the real-world consequences and implications of my findings is that homelessness is a problem that is not only important for adults to solve, it's important for high school students to solve as well. And then it's not just an urban problem, it's a rural problem, and rural students want to help solve the problem of homelessness. And I believe that the real world implications of this is that policies should be made to help homeless individuals, and they would gather public support. And I believe that there could be pressure placed on politicians because it's not like a pretty issue to run on, but I think it's an important issue that politicians should be asked to run on, and I think that it would gather public support.
Okay, thank you.
Think back to the initial curiosity that sparked your inquiry. What other curiosities do you have, and how has this process prepared you to explore them?
My other curiosities are like what urban people really, like people that live in like Greensboro, really think about homeless individuals, because my initial, like what really made me think about this was a field trip in 8th grade where we went to downtown Greensboro, and there was we were getting off the bus, and a lot of the students were like acting scared to walk downtown. And I live downtown Greensboro with my dad half the time, so like I'm not scared to walk downtown, but they express fear of walking downtown just because possibly seeing a homeless individual. And that's what initially sparked my want to do this. And I've been thinking about this topic for all of high school, but I haven't had the opportunity to really research it. But this time, I got to research this year, and initially I wanted to also interview students from like Guilford County, and but that would take a lot of work, and it would be unnecessary because I could compare my the students' responses from this school to urban, like the European study that that surveyed urban people from an urban area, so I could compare. I had that comparison, but I never got to interview people from Guilford County, and I think that would be something that I would want to do in the future, because I want to understand the people that live around me in both places, and that's what sparked my initial goal for this research.
All right, good job.